What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, guys. Look, we got a W. We went out there, we got a win. It wasn't pretty. It was the tale of two halves completely. I mean, from going down 17-3 to the New York Giants to basically being almost outscored 40 something to what, 6 or some crap like that over the it was ridiculous, guys, to say the least. Two halves of football between the second half of Miami and the first half of this Giants game. But you know what? I don't know how to explain it yet, guys, because the All 22 hasn't been released yet by Game Pass. I'm only really doing the essentially the replay at this point. Something started clicking, guys. Easiest thing I can explain to you is that for Carson Wentz in the offense, something started clicking. And it's not quite as easy to explain as what happened with the defense. The defense was just simple. They started playing up man press, made sure that Eli just couldn't get the ball out as fast as he was getting it out in the first half, and then that adjustment worked. That was a much easier thing to explain to everybody. The offense, it's just something clicked with a bunch of backups and practice squad players, guys who weren't even in the NFL 5 months ago. Something clicked. Hey, I don't know what yet, but I'm going to show you what I'm seeing. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's clicking. And hey, maybe we got something, maybe we don't. It's going to be hard to tell until we get to that Dallas game, guys.
Wentz has to retreat and extend.
The first change that I noticed from this Eagles offense from the first half to the second half has to do with Carson Wentz's individual play. This is what I'll say. Carson Wentz took the cape off, unhooked it, put it down on his ironing board, ironed it nice and neat, folded it real nice and neatly, put it in storage, in a storage bin, and put it underneath his, put it up in his closet or put it underneath his bed, wherever he stores it. He took the hero cape off, guys. He took what was there. He played with what was within the offense. Yes, did he try to extend a play or two? Absolutely. But he still played within the offense. That's an important point to make. He didn't try to be Superman. He just took what was there, had faith that they could come back and win this game without him being that kind of a heroic, having that kind of heroic effort, and ended up in the end having the heroic effort by not trying to be that guy. That's a big turning point, I think. I think that's something that Carson Wentz can now get like, oh, okay, like, hey, even with a complete lack of weapons, man, that really worked. And I want to show you what I'm talking about in terms of taking that cape off, playing within the offense, and not trying to be some crazy heroic person.
Of the season. And here's Greg.
It's really easy when you first look at this play to think to yourself, like, I didn't really see anything special there. It's what he did. It's the choices he made versus the choices he didn't make that made that play special. I'll slow it down for you, and I'm going to show it to you again in a second. But let me just walk you through what I've seen, and then I'll show you the play again so you can see it. Basically, Wentz hard counts. He sees Janoris Jenkins turn his attention, look right at him, and creep up. Now he knows for sure Janoris Jenkins is coming on a blitz. He sees Love walk himself down a couple of steps, so he knows Love's going to come up and try to cover Greg Ward Jr. Okay? He could have audibled the protection if he wanted to, shifted the line to the left, the offensive left, to pick that play up. He could have audibled into a different play. Could have done a bunch of different things. Instead, he trusted the play call. He identified the defense correctly. He knew that corner blitz, something he had trouble with recently. He's had a lot of trouble picking up those corner blitzes. He saw it. He recognized it, and he made a hell of a play on it. He played within the offense. That's what he's got to keep doing. If he keeps doing that, he's going to be a hard person to play even with these lack of weapons. He's a hard person to beat if he's on his game like that. Now I'll slow it down for you, and I'll show you that whole sequence between Janoris Jenkins and then Bryce Love. I'll show you that sequence of what he's seeing from the quarterback position and like, oh, okay, I know what's coming. So, beginning of the fourth quarter, guys, Eagles get the ball down around their own 13-yard line, And the New York Giants come out and they give them a cover 2 off coverage pre-snap read. And basically what they're doing is they're disrespecting the Eagles' running ability here. Eagles go back, single back. They got, Boston Scott back 5-6 yards deep, which generally speaking, that's about a 60-40 chance the Eagles are going to run the ball when they got it back that far, deep in the backfield. It's generally speaking a good sign the Eagles are probably going to run it more than they're going to play action. Now, they do play action out of that sometimes, and that's enough to keep a defense honest. But the Giants are really disrespecting us because they had faith in their front four, and their front four is pretty good. I'm not going to lie to you. I think they got something going there with their front four. But they look like, hey, we're not worried about getting beat on the run here. We're going to give you a cover 2 off coverage pre-snap read. But then I want you to watch because there's going to be a slight adjustment. Things are going to change just a little bit there.
And on the back end of the season.
I thought that was a pretty impressive read by Carson Wentz. Not losing faith in what you're doing because he could have easily audibled the offensive line protection and slid left. Had a slide left protection there. He could have audibled into the run. Could have done a lot of different things. But he stayed true to the play design, recognized what the defense was doing, and realized if I get this ball out of my hand quickly, this is open. This is going to be a big gainer. I like that. I like that from Wentz. That showed me something. Now, the second thing I want to talk about with Carson Wentz that I noticed, his mechanics were better. His mechanics were a lot better, guys. I made the whole video about talking about how Carson Wentz kept struggling with his mechanics. And he did. He was struggling big time with his mechanics at certain points of the game. I told you guys, if you really paid attention to his foot placement, the way he was, coming in from that ball carriage to the ball shelf, the way he was balancing his weight on his feet, he looked very flat-footed at times. He wasn't perpendicular to where he was throwing the football to. A lot of fundamental mistakes. Man, I want to show you one pass where I was just like, whoa, that's why that guy is a professional level quarterback. I'm someone who knows it on film. I played quarterback before myself, but I can't do that. I don't have that ability. That's why Carson Wentz is a professional quarterback. I want you to watch this throw. This is what you put on tape to show young quarterbacks to show them how to play the position.
2nd and 10. Wentz to the near.
That pass was a master class on how to play the quarterback position. From going into your ball carriage, right above that pec, right? Ball turns in just a teeny tiny bit towards the pec muscle, okay? From the ball carriage to the ball shelf, okay? He didn't go down with it. He went directly up, okay? Arms at a 45-degree angle, right? The ball's not facing straight up in the air, nothing like that, right? It's not facing towards the sky. He's got it perfectly placed, okay? Ball carriage to the ball shelf. Shifting the weight. You can literally see in the video, he shifts his weight from going on that toe tap from the left to the back foot and then driving back through. Look at the cleats. This is how you know a quarterback is not flat-footed on passes. You should see the bottom of the cleats. He's not off balance. He's not falling forward. None of that stuff. And look at the spiral on that football. That ball, that is the best thrown ball that I have personally seen out of Carson Wentz since 2017. That was a masterclass on how you play quarterback in the NFL. Simply put, that's the way you shut guys up like me who know a little bit about playing quarterback, who aren't to the level in the skill of Carson Wentz, but know enough to know when he's full of shit himself, when he's not playing well. That's how you shut us up. You put stuff like that on film because now there's nothing left for us to do but to praise them. Solid fundamentals there. Solid fundamentals. The best pass I have personally seen from Carson Wentz since 2017. Straightforward.
A 3rd down and 2.
Another adjustment I saw the Eagles make in the second half of this football game that I just thought changed the direction of the game. I thought it gave a confidence to Carson Wentz that I personally have not seen since 2017. And it was just a simple adjustment. All Doug Peterson and the coaching staff did was go up tempo and devolve some of the decision making back to Carson Wentz. They gave Carson Wentz control over the offense to an extent. They allowed him to get into the plays that he was comfortable with running in a tempo offense. And they mixed it up, guys. It wasn't like they just went up tempo and then went through an entire drive that way. They were mixing up between huddle and up tempo at times. When they felt like they had the advantage, they went up tempo and they kept the Giants on their heels and pushed the ball down the field. And if you want to see a good example of this up tempo offense, the style of mixing it, a huddled offense with up tempo, go to the fourth quarter drive. It was about 8 minutes, I want to say like 10, 11 seconds left in the game. And the drive starts off with Jimenez sacking Carson Wentz, pushing us back by the 5-yard line, 6-yard line, something like that. And one play after another, guys, we got them. We huddled up, got a couple of good calls there. Illegal use of the hands on the Greg Ward route that got us a first down. And then J.J. Arcega-Whiteside had a hold on him when he went up, made probably one of the best catches of the year from any wide receiver of the Eagles. That was all an up-tempo offense, guys. They went up-tempo, pushed the ball, let Wentz get into the offenses that he was comfortable with, and it made a difference. It definitely made a difference. And I'll be honest with you, that's something I think that the Eagles can carry forward against other teams like Dallas. I think if you're really struggling to script your first 15 plays, then you can easily take a concept like that and maybe script the first couple of plays. And then if you convert on a first down, instead of having 15 plays originally drawn up, go immediately into up tempo. You convert on your first couple of called plays, go up tempo and get Dallas on its heels. Get other teams on their heels. And then your next drive out there, go back into that again until that, those scripted plays, and then hit them with some up tempo again. Like you got to mix things up. And I think this is something that can be utilized by the Eagles to mix things up. And it made a difference, guys. Like the offense moved the ball like it has not moved the ball all season. This was one of the first times I felt like if we had the ball in our hands at the end of the game, we were clearly going to win it. I didn't feel that way against Miami, even though we put up 31 points. We only put up 23 points against this team. We put up 31 on Miami. This particular game, the offense had way more consistency and way more rhythm, especially when you talk about the second half of the football game. Like there was an actual identity there. They built an identity around Carson Wentz, timing rhythm passes, up tempo, rolling him out on the pocket. Like they actually had an identity. You kind of had a feeling for what they were. In the Miami game, I don't think any of us really understood what the hell the identity was of that offense. It was a big difference. Huge difference to me. All right, guys, these are some of my thoughts about this football game. This is what I'll say in closing, guys. I thought Carson Wentz in the second half, he led this football team. He led it. It wasn't what I envisioned. When I made that video the other day, I envisioned him from the start to the finish being that elite level quarterback. Playing, I should say an elite level quarterback, playing at an elite level for this game. That's what I was talking about. But you know what? Sometimes you don't get exactly what you're asking for. But look, there was a compromise there. In the second half, we saw a spark. Now, I won't lie to you. I am very uncomfortable with what's coming in. I hope Robert Davis gets called up because I think Robert Davis has potential. I think he might be a piece. He's going to add speed to this football team. That's a 6'3" guy that runs a 4.44 40. That's fast. This kid can stretch the field. He's going to add a lot of speed to the offense. Markin McKell, if he comes up, he's another guy that can add speed to the offense. And I think if you give Carson Wentz a group of guys who just want to play, they're not the most talented. This is not going to be the most talented team in the league. Give them a group of guys that want to play and let Carson Wentz go do his thing. You might have a shot. It's still a long shot, but you might have an actual shot. That's my thoughts, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And oh yeah, how do we end these videos again? Here we go. EAGLES. Eagles. Look, guys, there's a lot to iron through on this. But small steps. We just got to win what is in front of us. Focus on Washington. We need to beat Washington first. So let's start there.